everybody. Today I'm not in my neighborhood, but I'm in my friend Diane Ulmer's neighborhood. She lives in an apartment building, and we're up on her balcony looking out at the trees, and there's a road next to her place where she lives, and there are lots and lots of birds that we get to see whenever I come to visit her. So today's story is about some animals. The animals are not getting along very well together. They're having some troubles. And I hope they solve the problems in the story.
We'll find out.
Right, let's find out. Also, I want to introduce you to her alligator. This is Miss Ulmer's alligator, and he was sitting in the house, and I noticed him and thought, let's bring him out to listen to the story. So he's here too. Okay, we're ready.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This book is called The Big Squirrel and the Little Rhinoceros, and it was written by Mischa Damjan. All right. One morning, as the sun rose over the land of 1,000 shadows, the rhinoceros's head began to itch. Since he couldn't scratch the itch with his big feet, he charged straight at the first tree he saw. Wham! The tree toppled over, and a sleepy squirrel tumbled to the ground. "Watch where you're going, you big oaf!" the squirrel scolded. But the rhinoceros just laughed. The itch was all gone, and that's all that he cared about.
Wow. It wasn't very nice.
Nope. About the same time, the lion marched through the meadow, roaring so loud that the earth shook. "I am the greatest, I am the strongest, I am the king of the beasts." A mouse peeked out of her burrow and squeaked, "You scared the daylights out of me. The strong should help the weak. That's the best way to prove your strength." But the lion just laughed and flicked sand at her face with the tuft of his tail.
Oh.
You see that?
I do.
Can you see it? Okay. Later that day, a crocodile started grinding and gnashing his teeth very loudly. Look at that mouth.
Ooh. I'm sure he's interested in this.
A frog sitting on a nearby leaf croaked, "Stop it! How can I catch any flies when you're making that racket?" But the crocodile just laughed, and he gnashed his teeth more loudly than ever. That night, the squirrel, the mouse, and the frog called a meeting of all the little animals in the land of 1,000 shadows. Look how very small they all are. Whew. See them way at the bottom? First, the squirrel chattered, "I want to be big, so I can get even with the rhinoceros." And the mouse squeaked, "I want to be big, so I can get even with the lion." Then the frog croaked, "I want to be big, so I can get even with the crocodile." But the other animals were happy being small. The other animals in that land. One by one, the others hopped, crawled, skipped, and they flew away. Soon, just the mouse, the frog, and the squirrel were left. They drifted off to sleep right there, all dreaming of one wish: to be bigger than the crocodile, bigger than the lion, and bigger than the rhinoceros. And when the sun rose over the land of 1,000 shadows, something strange had happened. The squirrel, the mouse, and the frog all woke up enormous.
What?
And they were all enormously happy. That means really big. Meanwhile, the rhino, the lion, and the crocodile, they all woke up tiny. Can you see that huge tail that the squirrel has? So imagine how big he is now. And look at that tiny little rhinoceros.
Oh.
The rhino, the lion, and the crocodile all woke up tiny and bewildered. They stared at each other, and then they skulked away.
Skulked. What does that mean?
What do you think that means?
Skulked, like crept away. They were kind of slinking away.
Yeah, maybe they kind of
mad.
Made themselves even smaller, maybe. Huh?
Maybe.
Yeah. But soon the squirrel found out that being a giant wasn't easy. He was so heavy that the branches broke under his weight. And he was having a terrible time finding enough food to eat now that he was so big and needed more. He didn't even have time to worry about getting even with the rhinoceros. He missed being light as a feather, hopping from tree to tree with plenty of nuts to eat. You see him down there thinking about this?
He is thinking.
Not that the little rhinoceros had it any better. Now, when he charged against a tree to take care of his itch, he just got a headache. Yesterday, everybody had been afraid of him. But today, he was the one who was afraid.
Wow.
The rhinoceros was sorry that he had been so nasty.
Oh.
And then there's the giant mouse. She couldn't possibly fit in her own burrow. That was her home, and it was hard work digging a new one. The mouse couldn't understand why she wanted to be bigger than the lion. She's hard at work there, digging and digging in that forest.
She doesn't have a home.
No. The lion was getting hungry, but he was too tiny to stalk his prey. So he couldn't hunt well. I must be reduced to eating grass like a donkey, he grumbled. And he thumped angrily with his tail, but not a single grade of grass trembled. The lion regretted his arrogant pride.
Ooh.
He was very bossy before.
He was.
And now he doesn't feel so bossy. The giant frog, he sat in the tiny pond croaking miserably. He had spent the whole day catching flies, but he couldn't catch enough flies to fill his belly. It was so big now. The frog wished he had never made his wish.
Wow.
The little crocodile, he was so afraid he'd end up as fish food. And he didn't dare go near the water. And when he heard the frog croaking, the crocodile trembled to the tip of his tail, truly sorry that he had been so rude before.
Sounds like they're all kind of sorry for how they acted.
I think so. Well, that night, all of the animals, big and small, had a meeting.
Wow.
Everyone agreed that things could not go on this way.
No.
They all promised to be good friends. The rhinoceros wouldn't knock down any more trees. The lion wouldn't roar so loudly. And the crocodile wouldn't gnash his teeth all the time. So the next time the sun rose over the land of 1,000 shadows, the squirrel, the mouse, and the frog were small again. And the fish, and the rhino, the lion, and the crocodile were all large.
I wonder if they are going to act different.
Maybe we'll find out. Well, pretty soon, the lion happened to pass the little mouse. "Good morning," the lion greeted her warmly. "Is there anything I can do for you?"
Oh.
"No, thank you," the mouse squeaked back with a smile. And about the same time, the rhinoceros's head began to itch. He tramped gingerly over to the tree where the squirrel lived and said, "Excuse me, squirrel, may I please rub against your tree?" Always friendly at the pond as well. "Hello, crocodile," croaked the frog. I'm going out hopping in the meadow, so you go ahead and gnash your teeth if you want to.
Oh.
So, the animals in the land of 1,000 shadows have lived in peace and friendship ever since. And
Wow.
there's their beautiful day ending.
The land of 1,000 shadows. Wow, I enjoyed that story.
Good, I did too. Thank you for listening.
I'm so glad that they became friends again at the end.
That was nice.
They respected each other and were nice to one another. That's always the best way.
I'm glad to be your friend too.
Likewise. Well, we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.